especially not only for kids, for family matter. As we know, actually, since we are a non-Muslim country, we have a lot of challenge in our life. As Hadith al-Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, beautiful hadith in Sahih Bukhari reported on al-qabidu ala dinihi al-qabidu ala jamra bin nar. The one he hold his deen, al-qabid ala dinihi, al-qabid ala dinihi, I mean, holding his hand, his deen, following his deen strong, just like holding a charcoal in his hand, especially with our kids.
Yeah, you said it. You're right. Yeah.
So my dear brother and sister, inshallah, we're gonna open the speech now with Brother Muhammad, especially about our kids. Now, a lot of our kids in the public school, even Islamic school, low self-esteem.
Yeah.
But the key, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a hero. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Umar, Uthman, Ali, the Sahaba, the companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, reached the border of China, Spain, many countries, in America, and daily basis become Muslims. But why our kids afraid to speak we are Muslims? Especially after September 11, a lot of kids changed. Muhammad, Mo,
or Mike, or Mikey, or
Michael,
or Michael, or
they're afraid. A lot of people. I'm Mike. Yeah. The key, my dear brother and sister, we have to be proud we are Muslims. Life is very short. So, brother,
it's like everybody's afraid to be who they are.
Exactly.
And it's scary to see how these guys, when you talk to the kids about how they just feel very well, everything, we're not accepted. Why are they hated? We get hated on. People who don't like us. People, they get nervous around us. People.
Yes.
And I have to always explain to them, why do you care so much about what the people are thinking, what people are saying, or how people perceive you? Because we're only supposed to care about what? What's the only thing that we're supposed to care about?
Supposed to you, Jannah.
And what Allah thinks, and how we follow the right way to get to the right path.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I talk to these guys, especially, it's funny because it's a lot of the girls, they feel like you go to the Islamic schools. Oh, I can't wait to go to college. I'm gonna have so many friends. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And the stuff that they tell me, I don't really think they tell their parents, because I know if they tell their parents, they and they say like, well, I won't say this to my mom or dad because they're gonna yell at me. And they'll say it to me because they know I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to scream. I'm just going to explain to them how you got that idea of when you go to college, this is what you're going to do. When I go to college, I'm going to go have my friends. I'm going to go out to the parties. I'm going to go, go to these clubs. When I turn 18, this is the mindset of these younger kids. When I turn 18, I'm an adult. I can do whatever I want. That's the mindset that you hear from these little kids who are 8th graders, 9th graders, 10th graders. And you have to, and I explain to them, that Western mindset of 18, I'm 18, I'm an adult. I can do whatever I want. I'm going to take off my hijab, or I'm going to go do what I want to do.
Some people did.
I feel like I'm not pretty enough with a hijab on. And I have long hair, so I want my long hair to show. So, because I want to, make myself look pretty, and I want to do certain things. I want to be like everybody else, and that's what and that's kind of what gets me inside the most when you say to me, I want to be like everybody else.
Ya Allah.
And it hurts because I say to them a lot of the times, didn't your parents teach you that we're not like everybody else? Like we're not like that. We're not like them. And I know we talked last time about, sending kids off to college and, different states and different, different areas and kind of just, we shelter them like this as much as we can. Then we let them out. And then we think, oh, Khalas already gave them the foundation. They have a good foundation. Well, how strong is that foundation? How strong is your child's personality? And I'll give you real life examples of the kids that I've met that they went to high school after talking with me for 2-3 years and seeing them grow up, because now I see them in their high school years or in senior year, they're 11th graders. They're going off half dual enrollment, half college, half high school, and they'll say, Brother Muhammad, everything you told us in 8th grade, everything you told us about high school and college is absolutely right. It's scary. Everything you said about what was going to happen in school is happening.
Yeah.
They push you, they steer you this to these, like, I was going this way, and now they're making me go this way. Oh, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't party, I don't go to these places, and now all of a sudden they're making me, go to their birthday parties, go to these things.
Yeah.
And it's and if I haven't told, like, and I'm pretty sure, inshallah, some of the parents, they talk to their kids about these things, but they say, if I don't go, I feel like I'm an outsider, or I feel like a loser if I don't go outside with them, if I don't go hang out with them, if I keep saying no.
Oh yeah.
I'll feel like a loser.
Yeah, exactly. Some kids, a lot of kids do that.
And they do it because they don't want to feel bad, or they don't want to feel left out. Or
we need a solution.
So, and how I talk to these kids is, I let them understand that we're not being, Islam has like the answer for everything.
Indeed.
Right? It kind of answers just about everything in life. The purpose of life, how we live, how we eat, how we sleep, how we study, how everything, yes. How we do business, everything is kind of answered, and it's and that's when I tell the kids, if you actually understood and listened and read and really understood our deen, like the converts, like the reverts do. The reverts, when they come to Islam, they're like, 110% into their deen, into this Islam. They love Islam, they love the deen. They say, oh my God, it answers everything. These are reverts. The new guys. Muslims, yeah. We call them the noobs, right? The new guys. And they're showing you a guy who's a Muslim for all his life, born in it. Look how great this is, and you're just, oh yeah, but it's more fun to go to the bar. It's more fun to go hang out by the beach at night. It's more, and so when you hear the differences of them, and I try to explain to the kids, like, we don't live for this life, right? We don't. I said it before, and I'll say it 1,000 times again. We're not built for this.
We are temporary.
We're temporary, right? Yeah. And Islam answers everything that these guys are looking for.
Yeah.
When you talk to these people after 20, 30 years of partying, and they come to me after, they see me after, and they talk to me about their lives. Oh, I wish, when I was in college, I wish I would have, focused more on my studies. I wish I would have done this instead of this.
Yeah.
Because I did. I went to college in America. I went to Broward College. I went to FIU. I went to the university up in Pennsylvania. I went to these colleges, and of course, they say, hey, Muhammad, do you want to come here? And it wasn't them trying to get you away from your deen. That's not their intention. Their intention,
have fun together.
Yeah, let's just have fun together. We go to class together. Come on, let's hang out together. And so they're not saying, oh, let me get this guy to be, to get away from his deen. That's not their intentions. That's a shaitan's intentions.
Yeah.
Right? The shaitan is saying, hey, let's work through these people to make this guy, get away from his religion. Because I feel like the closer you are to your deen, the harder the shaitan works to get you away from it.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree with you.
I don't know if is there a hadith about that or something, like the closer you are to your deen, the...
No, the hadith mentioned, as far as you are in a deen, following what Allah said, you have hardship, very hard.
It becomes harder.
Allah said in the Quran, first, Surah Al-Ankabut, in the beginning of Surah Al-Ankabut, and the hadith I mentioned, Al-Qabid ala dini, the one who holds his deen strong.
Yeah.
Just Al-Qabid that had charcoal in his hand.
It's hard, and you want to let it go.
Exactly.
Because it's burning you.
Yes,
because
exactly. They hold it.
Yeah, that you're supposed to hold it.
Yeah.
But I feel like that when you're away from your deen, you go to these places and you do these things, I kind of feel like all the time that these guys are just, they feel, or they look on the outside, like when I'm watching them, they look like they're just carefree. Right? They're carefree, they're relaxed, they're hanging out, they're having a good time. But then when you talk to them on an individual basis, you sit down with them and you ask them the questions. Okay, my friend, you're 32 years old. You're 32 years old. What have you accomplished in those 32 years? And they look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, you're 32 years old. What have you done?
Exactly.
With yourself? Well, I have a job. Okay, well, that's great. But what have you accomplished? What have you done with yourself? Like, where are you going? And when you turn 40, what are you going to be? Where are you going to be? Are you going to be in the same place you are now when you're 40? Or are you working towards something? Like, what is your goals? Well, I don't know. I'm just living my life.
Well,
I'm just living my life. That's the answer you get a lot of times when you ask these guys who are in their 30s, who are in their 25, 30, 35 years old, and they say, I'm just trying to live my life. I'm just trying to have fun. I'm not hurting anybody. That's the answers you get from these guys who really haven't accomplished anything. And so when I explain to the kids, like we have to understand that as a Muslim, we're awesome.
Yeah.
We have the answers for everything. We kind of know where we're going. We have a purpose. These guys don't have a purpose. They don't know where they're going. They're trying to chase money, chase the dollars, chase the fame, chase the the woman, the cars, all these things. We're not chasing that. Right. So I always tell the kids, like, you're looking on the outside. You're not looking on the inside of that person and how they got to where they're at right now. And are they really truly happy? How many times have I walked into these $1 million homes to help these Muslim families and these other families? And these people have the best houses, the biggest houses, the nicest cars, and their lives are terrible. They're miserable.
Yes, agree.
And I always, tell people, and I was talking to one of the sisters today at the school, she came in and asked me for some help, or one of her friends needed some help. And I said, well, when I help the Muslims, I'm very direct. I'm very direct.
I know you're supposed to.
And I don't charge. So and there's no paperwork. So I'm going to be very honest. You're going to hate me.
we love you, brother.
Well, alhamdulillah. But I told the family members, you're not going to like what I have to say, because I'm going to be very honest with you. Yeah. And I know, as she's telling me what's going on, I explained to her, as soon as I cut her off, and I said, I'm sorry, let me ask you a question. There's some daddy problems in this one, right? And she was like, yeah. Are they fighting in front of the kid? Yeah, possibly. I said, okay, everything you're telling me, I already know, because I've been doing it for such a long time, that there's problems in the house between the mom and the dad. And I'm like, I'm assuming the guy has haram money coming into the house. Oh, so she has, take a step back. She said, yeah, how do you know? I said, because it doesn't matter how much times you do Umrah, or how many times you go to Hajj, or how many times you do Ramadan dinners and you donate money to the masjid. It's all coming from the haram sources. And so when you're not teaching your kids, okay, listen, your Baba is doing this, but I want you to do something else. I want you to focus on halal. I want you to focus on your deen.
It's very important. Yeah, right. Good point.
And so when okay, great. You can't stop your father. Tell us, you're stuck. You're 6 years old, you're 10 years old, you're 12 years old. You can't do anything about that problem. As a parent, you explain to your kid, listen, we're Muslims. We're not supposed to do that. And may Allah forgive your father, or forgive your mother, or forgive, that person for doing whatever they're doing. But now we have to understand, this is where I want you to go with your deen.
Yes.
Your deen tells you to do this. Be proud of it. Be proud of the fact that your deen tells you everything to do, how to raise your children, how to work, how to deal with businesses. It tells you everything. So when you're out here and you're going to the high school, or you're going to the colleges, or you're going to the universities, and you're seeing all this stuff, because like I said, I went to these schools, I went to universities, and I've seen it all. I've seen the people get drunk. I've seen the people get high. I did sports with these guys. I've seen it all, but I never did any of that kind of stuff, because I knew myself. I knew my personality. I'm strong on the inside, right? And so that's one of the things I always tell the kids, like, you have to be prideful, proud about being a Muslim. We talked earlier before we turned the cameras on, the difference between, what Allah doesn't like of the prideful and confidence, right? And how, we're not supposed to be cocky and too arrogant with the way we are, right? And people look at you and they watch you and they listen to you, and they learn what Islam is by dealing with you, right? I don't go talking to people about Islam. I don't, because I'm not a dawah guy. I'm not a sheikh. I'm not an imam. So I don't really do that in my dealings. So when I tell the kids, and I explain to the kids, when you go to colleges and universities, your job isn't to go, you have to be a Muslim, you have to convert. No, that's not your job. Your job is to show them by who you are, by your actions, right? Can they trust you? Are you a trustworthy person? Are you a liar? Are you a nice guy? Are you going to fall into their trap? Or are you going to be steadfast in your own personality, with your own deen, between you and Allah? What are you chasing? Right? And that's kind of what I want the kids to kind of understand, is where are you going with yourself? Right? Because I know it's hard. It's hard to live in this society that we live in. And not just this society. I go to the Middle Eastern countries. Look at Saudi Arabia, where they're doing clubs and they're doing the same things over there. I mean, it doesn't matter where you live anymore because the Western has touched.
Saudi Arabia used to be a Muslim country.
And
Brother, the story about me and my father. My father, my mom is the third wife. And, and back home, or 3, 4, 5, no problem with it. Not 5.
Oh, 4.
My father, the first one actually was blind. The second one was paralyzed. So she chose my mom. She went to Egypt to marry my mom. And then he was what, 60 years old. And the first child. And then we are 8, 3 boys and 5 girls. They are in Gaza right now. Yeah. But the moment I entered the school, elementary, first year in the school, that's very important, brother, here. The fathers, this brother for the fathers. My father, the moment I came from the school, first year in school, 70 years almost, yeah. Come, the moment I sit with him. And number one, he gave me something to drink. Said, what you did in school today? We did math, we did this in detail. And what the teacher? You have any problem with the teacher? No. Yes. Or the kids? Yes. And then we read Quran. Read Quran, have to every day have 1 page, memorize 1 page, 1 page. And the moment I came from the school, and then after I go with your mom. Your mom, same thing. Same thing. What you did in the school today? I did this.
Yeah.
This was 6, 7 years old. Until high school. Same system. Then I went to college. I'm from Gaza.
Yeah.
I went to Egypt, Al-Azhar University in Egypt. But my mom from Gaza, driving in the car, they come every year 4 times.
Wow.
Every semester, every term, come and stay with me. And in the summer, either to go to Gaza or my uncles in the village in Egypt. My point, brother and sister, are very important. My father, when I grow up, he always took care of me. Even I did sometimes, alhamdulillah, I was going to school. But sometimes I love to play.
Yeah,
all of us were,
of course.
But even playing a certain time.
Yeah, of course. There's a time there's a time for everything.
Yeah. But in that time, by the way, we don't have electricity. We don't have electricity. And we have a well in the house.
You don't have YouTube?
YouTube?
Yeah. No,
we don't have even electricity. No light. We have a candle.
Yeah.
So that was, brother, the key, my era, especially. But now everything changed.
It's changed, but you okay? So the times have changed, but the needs have not changed.
Like, give me an example.
So the example is, okay, so we feel like when we have our kids, I feel like all the dads and a lot of the fathers, not all of them, most of the fathers, they kind of just put everything on the mom. Okay. And
especially if they are working and she's not working.
Yeah, and I understand that. Yeah. Right? There's rules, there's roles for both mom and dad, husband and wives. Kids have roles, we all have roles. I think, but what needs to happen now, more than maybe 20 years ago when we didn't need this as much, but the fathers need to be more involved, right, with the kids. And it's hard when you talk to single moms or the dads who leave their family, just walk off and go get married to another person and just forget about their kids. It's really it's weird. It's very difficult. Agreed. Because we know, and I'm not talking about psychology. I'm not talking about the books that you read in college. At a certain age where these kids have developmental needs and all this stuff. I'm not talking about all that. I'm talking about realistically speaking. A daughter needs her dad. A daughter needs her father to teach her what a man is supposed to be, how a man's supposed to act, how a man's supposed to treat a woman. And the boy needs the father to show him how to be a man, to teach him how to be a man, like a real man, and confident in yourself.
Agree.
Right. So if there's one missing, it's very difficult. And look at the studies of incarcerated people that go to jail.
Yeah.
Right. The people that go to jail mostly are coming from single mother homes or no family homes, because they don't have that structure to kind of explain to them how to behave, how to act, how to talk, how to walk, how to be confident in yourself. And for Muslims, I add more. We have more more responsibility on us as Muslim fathers.
Yeah.
Right? We're not those people that just work. I made my money and let me, I paid the bills. They have a roof over your head. You got food on the table. Leave me alone. I'm gonna, sit back and watch the news. Leave me, that's not how we behave. That's not.
Agree, yes.
And when we see that, and the kids tell me this. The kids tell me this. When I go to the schools and I talk to these kids, oh, when my Baba comes home, he just sits back and he just puts the remote on and we have to give him his coffee and we just leave him alone. What?
Yes. Yes.
And so when you have a parent, when I talk to these kids, I'm saying, listen, go to your father when he's coming home and say, hey, Baba, can we, go play soccer? I tell the kids, you have to initiate sometimes. Sometimes they don't know. Sometimes the parents don't know. And they don't want me to come to the house because they know I'll tell them that what they're doing is wrong and they need to change. And I get it. We're tired, right? Men are tired. Women are tired. We're all tired. We're constantly working. We're constantly trying to survive. We're constantly trying to fight the society around us. We're arguing constantly. It's a big struggle.
But they lose in the end. Most likely.
Most of the time, the kids are the ones that are going to be the losers.
That's why the whole point is the kids.
And so when we kind of just focus on everything else, we lose focus of the more important things, right? And I try to explain to the people, like, you have to manage your time better, right? Set your time management skills a little bit better, right? Okay, you get off work at 5. I get it, you're tired. The kid just got out of school, right? So while the kid's doing his homework, maybe you take a break while the kid's doing his homework, and then 7, 8 o'clock, go outside for a little bit, go do a jog, you tell them to kind of find a 30 minutes, because that's all you really need during the weekdays. Sometimes 30 minutes you don't need the whole day to do things with these guys.
No, Salat al-Fajr now 6 o'clock. And most of the people go after 7 or 8 o'clock, to go to 9 o'clock. Yeah. Take opportunity after Salat al-Fajr. For example, after Salat al-Fajr, I come, my wife and I will go jog 2-3 miles, and we come home. And sometimes with our adhkar, subhanallah, adhkar. So my question, brother, I know that a lot of the fathers, the father, TV, this is the mom. The problem here, a lot of people, they come to me as an imam post or the parents for the school. My kids.
They always blame the kids.
Me, I didn't even, brother, my job, halal, haram, I'm not teaching kids. You're supposed to teach the kids. Now teach yourself manners and etiquettes and take care of yourself.
Well, I think that's one of the things we forget. We want our kids to learn, to be smart, to get straight A's, but we forget to teach them manners. We forget to teach them.
This is the key, brother and sister here.
Yeah, we forget to teach them how to behave. And I one of the things I always tell my own kids is, okay, grades, yes, get straight A's, A's and B's, whatever. But I don't want the teacher to tell me that you were disrespectful. I don't want the teachers to come back and tell me, well, your son, said a bad word, or your son, was being silly, or your son, anything disrespectful to me. That's when I say, okay, hold on, I didn't teach you that. That's not the way I taught you.
This bad word, by the way, it become like a slang. Everybody. I went in Texas actually, and when my second son, I have 4 kids. Second son was speak with him, and when he speak, he have this bad word.
Yeah.
I do like this. I said, Baba, I'm sorry. That means deep down, on in front of me. Yeah. Oh, sorry. That means
in normal life, it's when you're not around, he's just
very scared.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm away from him like for more than 15, 18 years away from my son.
See, and you kind of see that when you have these guys who just talk like this as normal, right? That the way they're talking, the way they're expressing themselves, the cursing, the vulgar language constantly, and it's normalized, right? It became like this normal thing that if I don't curse, then I'm not cool. And I explained to the kids, look, I worked in the jails, I worked in prisons, I worked with all these guys who all they do was curse. All they did was curse. All they do is talk trash. All they do is make fun of you. All they do is say these things. That's what I put myself into. I didn't have to do all that.
But there's a solution for this. I want to learn myself.
So if you're talking to your kids and you're, because kids mimic, right? They watch you. They're like with their mirror. They watch us. and they learn from us. Then, and one of the things I always tell the parents, you know, you got an argument, you got to fight. Don't do that in front of the kids, right? Let them go to sleep, let them go to bed, or go do your own thing. Go take a walk outside and talk to yourselves while you're walking outside.
Good
idea. And one of the things that I told a couple one time is, and I told them, go walk outside for a couple of blocks and talk to each other while you're walking. I said, you're going to see what happens while you're walking and while you're talking.
Yes.
The chemicals in your brains start to shift. The anger, the frustration changes to endorphins, to pleasure, to happiness. And it's weird when we're walking and talking. It's different than when we're sitting and talking. You get more out of a child when you're playing with them on the outside, running and playing soccer, than you do if you're sitting down talking to the kid.
This is, brother and sister, a very, very important point. In fact, I was involved with the family, and three kids actually. They're making like a disaster in the house, hitting each other. And then when I went to try, I take one son. I go outside. We'd walk. The key, I let him speak.
Yes.
And speak. Everything here
came out. Yeah.
And then he wants go to your room, let them speak with your brother. And same thing, three boys, our son go around. And after that, the mom making dinner. The most beautiful dinner. The key, let your son speak.
Yeah, they have to be able to talk.
Even bad words.
Yeah.
I was hurt when my son saying that. When he finished, I say, I was so sad. And then, Baba, you're sad. I'm so sorry. I will never. I will stop. But my point, not only for me.
Yeah.
I want even the other kids. And plus, when you speak, of course, Surah Al-Hujurat is 18 ayah. Normally, a small surah revealed where in Mecca. Why? Halal, haram, مش halal, haram, عقيدة and tawheed and money. And in Medina Munawwara, long ayat. Al-Baqarah, for example, Al-Imran, Nisa, huge in Medina. Why? Rules and regulations. Except Surah Al-Hujurat, 18 ayah. Al-Hujurat, it is, I have a conference in Canada, Astaghfirullah, in Australia. Strong home, strong nation.
Yeah.
Under Surah Al-Hujurat.
Mashallah.
And then I did here conference here, lecture in the Masajid. Wallahi, if you mentioned that in the beginning, if we understand our Quran, we live in our Quran, everything in this book, everything in our small book. But the key, how many of us apply what Allah revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
And even when you talk to the kids and I explain to them these things, and they say, well, why does everybody hate us? Why does, when we go out there and we say we're Muslims, they get like, they get nervous, or they get, it's scary to be a Muslim now. And, I explain to them that, when you have the whole world against you, let's say, the whole world's against Islam, right? You have to ask yourself why, and you do the research. You kind of like understand and you read, because I tell the kids all the time, there's power in knowledge, right? The more knowledgeable you are in anything, any field, engineering, doctors, Islam, whatever knowledge you want to gain.
Yes.
There's a lot of power in it, right? There's a lot of power. When I used to deal with the gangs and the gang members, the kids in the gangs, I would always tell them, look, it's not illegal to be in a gang. You can be in a gang, but do you really want to be the low guy in the gang, the little minion in the gang, or do you want to be up on top?
Yeah.
Right. And I want to be on top. Okay, so how do you get on top in the gang?
You work hard.
You educate yourself.
The key, education, knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
So I don't throw them, you got to be a Muslim. No, I say, educate yourself.
Jazakallah. This is, brother and sister, very, very important. Knowledge is number one. Have a safe house. Safe house. Knowledge, jazakallah.
And you see that, and I give you a while back example of a guy I was working with. He was, I think, 15 at the time. And I said, you're being arrested. You're getting arrested because you're doing the minion work. You're working with this big gang, and they're making you do the small stuff. And while the big people are getting the money and they're living their lives, you're here in jail. You're getting locked up. So I said, let's work on something how you can become better in the gang, right? And so that, I'm not telling him to leave the gang. I'm not telling him to get out of the gang. I'm telling him, get up in the gang. And, oh well, okay. Well, I was thinking about becoming, if I wasn't in here and I, have my father around or somebody, I'd probably want to be like a lawyer or something. So okay. So guess what? Guess what gangs need? They need lawyers,
Yes.
right? So let's become a lawyer. Okay.
They need
Oh,
more.
of course, you get locked up, you need a lawyer to call.
Oh my God.
Here's what you do. And here's what I did. The kid studied. The kid got, he got his GED. He studied. I got him into like a certain school, and I was gone. He only stayed with me for a couple of years, and he did his own thing. What ends up happening is once they become educated, once they become knowledgeable, once they become smart and intelligent, and they learned all this stuff, and they worked so hard, they tell them, "I don't want to be in a gang anymore. I don't want to be part of this anymore."
Exactly.
And then they leave.
He
woke up.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, it's not. I agree 100%.
And when I tell these kids that, I tell the kids in Islam, I said, Islam is a very powerful religion because it's true, right? And when you talk about truth to people who have control and who have power, they don't want to know the truth.
Indeed.
And so they're going to make Islam look as bad as possible. That's why for I don't know how many years, they put on TV that Muslims are terrorists, that Muslims are bad, the Muslims are this, the Muslims are that. They oppress their woman. They make their woman cover. They do this. They do that. They make their woman, walk 10 steps behind them. They do these things, and they're still disrespectful towards women. And I tell them they're fighting a losing battle, because at the end of the day, when the people, and after September 11th, after all these the Muslim countries got hit, after the Iraqi war, after right now what's going on in Palestine and Lebanon, people are, let me look at this religion. Other people,
a lot of people
are looking at, they convert to Islam. They see the wonders of it. And so you have to, and I tell the kids, if these people who were never Muslims, who always would get, now they're on TikTok, they're on YouTube, and they're saying, when I was younger, I thought I thought Muslims were terrorists. I always thought, and now I open the book and it's so peaceful and answers all the questions. These are not Muslims.
Yes.
These are reverts telling you that all my life, all their lives, they heard negative things about Islam, but they took it upon themselves to gain knowledge, because it's not a secret that the smarter you are, the more powerful you become.
Yeah,
it's not a secret.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But our kids right now are so wanting to be friends with everybody, so wanting to be involved with everything, that they're forgetting that you look outside the box and you see these people who are successful. They're not following the crowd. People who are super successful, and we define success in the Western society as millionaires, rich people. That's how we define success over here. And I explain to the kids, their definition of success. Even their definition of success is the people that are going the other way, that they're not following people. These are the people, the successful people that are in the Western idea of success. Those guys who are successful in the Western mindset don't even follow people. They just do their own thing. Right? So you look at people like Elon Musk, like, Bill Gates, like all these people who are they're not following little kids around. They're not watching stupid videos on TikTok or Instagram. They're not wasting their time. They're not trying to be like everybody else, because they know they don't want to be like sheep.
Exactly.
Right? And so I explained to them, we're not sheep.
That's a very good point. The people, imagine, Bill Gates and those people, they will never follow what they are even creating.
No.
That's us.
Yeah. They don't follow. They don't do the stuff that we do. They don't go on Amazon and buying 1,000 different things, because they know. Are you looking
at with the Black Friday?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's all garbage. But like I look at, like, you see the pictures of Mark Zuckerberg, the guy that controls Instagram and Facebook, and he's just wearing jeans and a t-shirt. These guys don't even think about what they're going to dress. They're just thinking about how to make more money.
Excellent point.
Right? So we're thinking over here, how can I make friends? How can I be cool? How can I make everybody like me?
Even our kids now, if one of the rich guy have a Nike expensive, and actually I heard the story actually here, it was very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And their mom, they go from Walmart. Say, Mom, I need the same one.
Yeah.
I said, well, you have brand new.
Yeah.
So no. He was a Nike, one, I don't know, $1,000. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't have even food for us. Like, people compare.
But they don't realize, and I explained to them, these guys who are wearing these shoes, you think they paid for that? You think they paid $1,000 for those shoes? They give them for free because the marketing people know, they know that if you're wearing it, they're gonna buy it.
The famous people.
The famous people, not you.
Yeah.
I mean, you're famous, but not that famous. Sorry.
I hate to be famous.
No, but you see these things happening, and you see it as you grow up. You start to notice.
Yes.
Like, really, I wanted to buy the Nike shoes that cost $800, and all I'm gonna do is step and poop.
Oh man, wow.
And I explained to the kids, like, you don't need. And even when I go to people's homes and I see how much stuff they have in their houses, and you see how much stuff people have, and you're just, do you need all this?
But how, really, brother, it's very important topic. I think all of us here listening to Sunnahfollowers and social media, how to educate our kids to humble ourselves. Yes, the $1,000 shoes or something like that. But my son, my daughter, our daughter, I want it. But how to speak to our kids in a very intelligent way, where you speak, to make the kids humble themselves.
So we have to.
Very important.
So, like, we talked about this something, and I think another talk we had was, kind of like the way we talk to our kids is the way we talk outside, like when our kids are listening to us talk to other people.
Yeah.
Right. So when we have family gatherings and we talk to each other, we have to let them hear the conversations that we're having with our brothers, with our sisters, with cousins.
Yes.
Because we have these discussions all the time of how why we don't buy these things, or why we don't waste our money on these things. And we do this in front of my children. We talk like this in front of each other so our kids can hear the conversations we're having.
Yes.
These are very important conversations.
It's very important for whoever listens to us. It's very important topic here, brother and sister.
So we, at a certain age, 12, 13, even 11 now, the kids younger, now is becoming more mature. 10 years old, 11 years old, they're becoming more mature. And so when you're having these discussions with your own family members, and you talk about the new iPhone that's coming out. Right?
Yeah.
And everybody chases these iPhones, and everybody wants a new iPhone. Everybody, sees these new phones. Oh my God, I gotta buy a new phone. My family and I, when we talk, we say, how stupid are these people waiting in line around the corner for 3 days to get a new phone?
Yes.
When it does the same exact stuff as the old phone. When you're spending $2,000 on a phone, it's ridiculous. And so when you talk like this in front of your children, and you're not cursing, you're not being vulgar, you're not being disgusting, you're just having a conversation with your family members, with your husband, with your wife, and you're explaining to each other, that's ridiculous. How are these people waiting in line for the new TVs? How many TVs do you need in the house? Nothing. How many phones do you really need? How many, and you say these things to these guys and in front of your children, they begin to think.
Yes.
So when they go to school, they start to say things like, yeah, but that's kind of ridiculous. Why would I wait 3 hours for a phone in line? The kids will start hearing what you're saying.
Yeah.
And if you've already instilled that strength, that confidence in your child, to be confident in themselves, not just being as a Muslim, but being as a man, as a woman. Once you instill all that in those kids, they're not gonna care. They're not going to care what all their friends have.
In my opinion, whoever rant about this, he have a low self-esteem.
Low self-esteem, and they're very insecure.
Yes.
Very insecure.
But how are our kids? Because I know a lot of Muslims doing that.
Oh, a lot of Muslims do.
How really encourage our kids this conversation between your wife and you singing together.
Yes.
Front of the kids.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two, what else? Sometimes, for example, husband, wife, son of them, have a not really good relationship, but our kids, man.
So one of the things I know I've done this years ago. I think it was a long time ago on the Black Friday. Way back in the days, I took my kid out and let them I drove and let them see the lines, and I said, look,
wow,
look how these people, look at the sheep. Look how these sheep. They're just waiting. They're waiting, and they're for what? And and this doesn't happen anymore. But back in the days, they used to run in the stores on Black Friday and take the
when I came to America, it's crazy. I never involved with this.
It was insane. It was crazy. So I would let my kids see, look how crazy these people are.
As even second day, same price is low. Why we rush right now?
Because they've been able to. If you study marketing, if you study like business, there's certain colors that they use. There's a lot of things that go into,
yeah.
making people think that they're getting a big deal.
Yeah. Market strategy,
market strategies, all this kind of stuff. And that's why I always say, like, it's your strength on the inside of yourself, being confident, being, having that self-respect for your family. Am I going to be one of those sheep that waits in line?
I love this sheep.
And that's what I call people. I call people all the time. You're a sheep. You're following everybody.
Yes.
When I look at, and I did this with the kids the other day, I said, I want somebody's, and then I did this in the American school, American non-Muslim environment. I said, let me get one of your phones. Let me look at your following list. Let me see who you're following. I said, who is brave enough to give me their phone to let me see who you're following? I was going to see who you're following. Nobody wanted to do it.
Can you? Oh, in the phone, you can tell.
Yeah, you can just go on your phone and look at the followers. I'm following, a million people that I'm following. I can see who I'm following.
Oh my God!
And so I said, let me see who you're following. Nobody wanted to let me see because they know
Yeah.
the people that they're following are ridiculous. The people that they're using as role models. I want to be like this person. I want to be like that person. I want to be like them. I want to be. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing. And I told them, I said, well, if you can't let me see who you're following, that says something about yourself.
That Allah ordered us actually to be humble ourselves. Allah al-kibriya, the most honorable is Allah Azza wa Jal. We're supposed to be humble ourselves.
Of course.
Yeah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's the most humble person. And he's the best of your creation. But he's always humble. So brother and sister, mashallah, time is running fast. Still have time, inshallah. But still prepare yourself for a question, inshallah, inshallah. So, but really, the low self-esteem, especially in school.
Because our schools are, we think in our mind our schools are supposed to be educational facilities, right? They're supposed to teach our kids math, English, science, that's what we think a school is. The schools became like a runway for models, for technology, for the newest clothes. It became like this thing now where and this is way back in my days too, and now it just got worse, where it's like if you don't have the cool shoes, they're gonna make fun of you.
Yes.
Right. And if you don't have the nice shirt, or if you have like a little hole in your shirt, or if you dress a certain way, they're gonna make fun of you.
Oh Allah.
Right. And actually today, in the discussions I had with the kids at the Islamic school, I said, even me, who I work in a nice, you would think educational type of job, they still make fun of you. Doesn't matter how old you get or what kind of position you're working, they're still gonna make jokes about you. They're still gonna see how far they can go, and it's gonna take a strong-willed person to not care what they think or what they say. And so I explained to the kids today, I said, one of the things that a father is supposed to do in their kid's life is teach them that.
Indeed.
Right? You teach them, someone's going to make fun of you. Someone's going to call you a big nose. What are you going to do about it? I'm going to laugh. That's how I did it. And that's what I teach my kids. I always laughed. When they make fun of me for being short, I'm faster than you. My legs move faster than yours. You're too tall. I always making things into a joke, right? Because that's my personality. Everybody has their own different personalities and how to deal with.
I love this.
Because what happens is you take that control and that power back from whoever's trying to bully you or whoever's trying to talk trash to you. Because I'm confident in myself.
Yes.
Right. And I know that anything I do or anything I say, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. Right. Because at the end of the day, like, right, we talked to the kids today. I said, growing up, my mom used to say, Allah's watching you. Right. Allah's watching you. Allah's seeing you. I can't see you everywhere, but Allah's watching you. You put that fear in us. Now I tell the kids, Allah's watching you, and there's cameras everywhere watching you. So I said, that's even like more.
Yeah.
More eyes are watching you. So I said, you have to act like somebody's watching you all the time.
I love this camera.
Cameras are everywhere.
Yeah, right? Even traffic lights.
Even traffic lights. They have
traffic light, yeah.
So you do something wrong, or you say something silly, or you do something bad, they're gonna find you.
Even now, I heard the phone, social media, the iPad, the laptop, this all with camera,
always on.
Record you.
It's always on. And that's a whole. I talked to you guys like
that before.
That was a whole other thing where the cameras are always running. The cameras are always watching, and iPhones are the worst ones. They're constantly taking pictures. of your house, of your face, of what you're doing, of where you're going. And I always tell the kids, imagine you're taking that phone into the bathroom with you.
Oh my Allah.
You know, and so we had a big talk about that last time, but
No, hold on. Concentrate, especially social media here. I mean, when you are in the phone in the bathroom, take a shower, and some people have it in the shower.
Mhm.
I mean, even you're gonna see exactly
everything that you showing,
your heart,
everything that you're willing
your heart
to show. I mean, we gave them the access to that. We told them that was okay. When you download the apps, you give them permission.
I heard more scary part. A new Tesla cell phone.
Well,
No internet with the satellite. That means every action, everything, and that cheap.
yeah, of course it's cheap because they want everybody to have it.
And you're going to control the people with
Yeah.
the phone.
Yeah. I mean, it's already happening. Look how many times, when you go to people's houses or you go to dinner and you go out to a restaurant, how many times you see people on their phones instead of talking to each other. And so, and I tell the kids this, and I told them a couple of times. I said, that's the time when you're at a restaurant, when you're out with your family. That's the time when you go to your father and you go to your mother. Hey, I need you to, Dad, can we start doing this from now on? Can we hang out after you get off of work? I tell the kids to tell their parents this, because the parents, I can't blame the parents. Maybe they grew up with parents that never did that stuff. The older generation fathers didn't really hang out with their kids. They didn't really do stuff with their kids. The older father, the grandfather, the older dads. I never talked to my kids. I never even said anything. Look how great my kid came up. Yeah, but that was a different time.
Yeah.
That was a different time. That was a different.
No, it's completely different era.
It's completely different era. It's completely different timing. If we're not talking to our kids, if we're not spending time with the kids, if we're not listening to them, they're gonna listen to somebody else.
Absolutely. Yes.
Right. And it's 90% of the time it's gonna be somebody negative.
Yeah. Absolutely, of course.
And so when I talk to the kids and I get parents who get mad, why did you tell my kid to tell me to hang out with him? What? And I have to stop for a second. What did you say? You told my kid that I should go play soccer with him? And he's coming home to me telling me to go play soccer with him. You know how tired I am when I get back from work? I mean, you get these kind of reactions from parents.
Yes.
And then I don't say anything. I kind of just wait a little bit and I let them hear what they just said. Listen to what you just said. And once they they hear how they said it, they take a step back. They say, "Oh, okay, I see what you're saying." And I explained to them, I'm not trying to say, you're bad fathers or you're bad parents. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, Allah.
I said we kind of just lose the focus of what's really important. I get it. We got to pay our bills. Yeah, of course. You have to pay your electricity. You have to pay your water. I get it. I get all that. But do you really need $1,000 pair of shoes? Or can you save that $1,000 and work less hours and go spend some more time with your kid?
Wow. Yeah.
So when I talk about that, I talk to them about priorities, right? Where are your priorities at? What's most important to you? I get it. I always tell the kids, the most important thing is have a roof over your head and food in your belly.
Yeah, indeed.
Right? You have to have that.
The kids don't do that.
They don't do that. They don't worry about that. They don't know about that.
They don't. They're not feeling that.
And they don't have to, because they're kids. They're not supposed to, right? And as parents, we're supposed to explain to them as they grow up, this is my responsibility as a parent.
Yeah, Allah.
Right. And as they're growing up little by little, at a certain age, you talk to them about this. When they get older, you talk to them about that. They get older, you talk about bills. You talk about, there's certain ages that you talk to them about certain things. But if you're not doing that, if you're not really explaining to them the importance of working, the importance of saving money, the importance of understanding how to save your money, and the importance of Islam, how you got to put Islam into everything that you do, right? Everything that you do, then they're not going to know.
Yeah.
You want them to go to an Islamic school and to learn all that from Islamic school?
No, absolutely not.
They're not.
I agree.
And then you go send your kids to a public school. You think they're going to learn anything like that?
No. Okay. Public school. It's scary.
It's scary. They're not going to teach you. They're going to teach you other stuff that's not really in line with what we talk about or what we live or how we live. So when you explain to the kids and you explain to the parents, little by little, at 5 years old, you explain this. At 8 years old, you explain this. At 13 years old, you explain this. So when I go into the houses and I talk to these parents, okay, this kid is this age and this kid is this age. This is how you're supposed to be talking to this kid. And this is how you talk to this kid. And at the same time, you can talk to them about the same certain things you can talk to them about together.
Yeah.
But you understand this kid has different likes and dislikes. This kid has certain likes and dislikes, right? When you grow up, you start to know which kid does what. This kid's going to become an engineer. I could see it. My daughter is going to be a doctor when she grows up. My son is going to be, a chef or whatever he wants to be. Like you can see as a parent, knowing where your kids are going to go with themselves, like kind of gearing what your kids like. So you know how to talk to each kid. They're your kids.
Exactly. Yeah.
You should know that this kid likes to even talk about like this. This one wants me to be more direct. This one wants me to be more fluffy and talk, talk a little bit, cushy and whatever. So your kids. So talk to them the way they need to be talked to.
Yeah, I agree with you. So we need, before we finish, almost finish, before the question, we need advice, Brother Muhammad, for the parents, how to deal with this kind of hardship. Our kids low self-esteem. We need a few minutes before we finish.
So,
for the parents, for man, the father, and the mother.
So one of the things I tell the parents is you want to gauge where your kids are in their confidence and their self-esteem, right? You as a parent, you have to know kind of where they're at with their personalities. And if you're just, I come home from work, they take showers, they do their homework, and they go to bed. They eat dinner and they go to bed. If you're that kind of parent, you're not gonna learn. You're not gonna know.
Okay, yeah.
You're not gonna know what's going on inside of their heads. So one of the things I was explaining to them, especially when the school has to call, when the school has to make a call and the school is getting you involved, and the school is seeing something, and the school is telling you these things, look into your own kid. Okay, thank you very much, Brother Muhammad. Thank you for telling me these things. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see what you're talking about. Take 1 week with your kid and try something different.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Because everything you're doing is not working. It hasn't been working.
Yeah, it has to be. There's a solution to fix it.
Fix it. So let's try 1 week. And I always say set small goals. Don't go for, I'm going to do this for 1 year. No. Every week you do something different. Try something different. Every week, little by little. On Monday, you start a conversation in the car when you're picking up your kid from school. On Tuesday, you start a conversation with your kid when you get in the car, and then you carry it over to when you get home for an extra 5 or 6 minutes. Slow conversations, open-ended questions. Third day, you have a conversation with your kid, you work it back at home, and then you keep talking throughout the day. Not for too long, maybe an hour the most. The whole night, 1 hour, just that conversation. 20 minutes here, 10 minutes here.
Yeah, continue.
Yeah, split it up.
Yeah.
Because it gets boring.
Yeah.
If it's a whole 1 hour,
I agree.
it gets boring.
Time, yes.
And kids have this thing where they can't really focus past, 5-6 minutes anymore.
For the kids, yes.
Yeah. So it's little by little, you start to do conversation after conversation.
Yes.
You're gonna start to see that kid's gonna come to you next Monday, and he's gonna already know the questions. I did this in school. Brother Muhammad came and he talked about this, and they're gonna already.
They know.
They're gonna want to talk.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear you talk. They want to talk.
Yes.
They want you to just listen.
Because there's a topic there.
Because it's there.
I agree.
Yeah. And once you let them have that open space to converse, they're going to be more comfortable. Every week it gets better. Every week it gets better.
Allah guide our kids.
I mean, inshallah, they need as much guidance as they can get.